We're at 11:30 Pacific on the dot, so I'm going to get started because we have a lot to talk about today. If you all have been joining the How an Idea Becomes a Class series since Tuesday, you've seen the progression of these concepts about program and course development from the data analysis level through curriculum development. And now today, Kate Johnson and Adam Davey are going to be leading us in a discussion of how to optimize curriculum and achieve student success goals through quality instructional practices that each of their teams supports at UAGC and University of Arizona, respectively. Today is a little bit different though, because after Kate's and Adam's half-hour presentation, we're going to devote the second half of our session, the second half hour, to a panel discussion where all of the presenters from this week will come back together along with the leaders of UCAT at University of Arizona, Dr. Lisa Elfring and Dr. Melody Buckner. So with that, I'm very pleased to welcome you to this session and go through a few logistical items before we get started. By joining us today, you acknowledge that this session is being recorded and will be shared with TLC-related materials. Microphones are muted for this session. However, we encourage you to post your questions and comments in the chat. Also, we've enabled live transcription, so if you would like to use it, please click the Show Captions button at the bottom of your Zoom window. Now, I'm pleased to turn the floor over to Kate to lead us through from blueprint to belonging, cultivating teaching and learning in the classroom.
Thanks, Teresa. And we were late getting our actual presentation title together. So if it doesn't say this, you're in the right place, I assure you. So our session speakers today are myself and Adam Davey. I'll let Adam introduce himself once his slide is up, and I'll introduce myself as my section gets rolling. But we wanted to talk about a common theme across the 3 days. Dr. Elfring had talked to us when we were initially looking at how collectively we could discuss not only what we do independently, but collaboratively in this process of bringing a class from an idea into fruition, and looked at the appreciative inquiry model. In our 3 sessions, we hope specifically to highlight aspects of this and get you to understand a little bit more about what we do and how we bring our classes online. So I'm going to kick this over to Adam to introduce himself and to get rolling.
Good afternoon or good morning, everybody, depending on what time zone you're in. Hello, my name is Adam Davey. I'm an instructional design manager at UCAT at the University of Arizona. And so in my role, I work with the instructional design team. We do primarily working one-on-one with faculty to put their courses online. And so I work with faculty to do that. I also supervise a team of instructional designers. And I'll take you through a little bit about how our process works, what we do. So as this slide says with UCAT, we provide consults, talk about teaching. We support our educational technologies. And so that is kind of weaved into what we do as instructional designers as well, is helping faculty get connected with educational technologies that will support their class and support their students. Course design, that's the main thing that my team does, is working during those development cycles to get their course design and put online. And then we have an assessment team as well that helps support learning outcomes and reporting and curriculum design, does the student course surveys where we hear from students about the good, the bad, the ugly of all of our courses and everything. So it's a diverse team. It's a big team at UCAT. And my role, while being just one portion of it and on one team of it, we do interact with all the other teams at UCAT. We do collaborate, and everything gets kind of weaved together into what become our online courses. And we do support our Mostly what we do is work on courses that go to Arizona Online, but we do also support the main campus I courses that can be cross-listed with Arizona Online, but are also open to main campus students as well to take an online course. So we kind of have our hands in a lot of the online courses that are offered by University of Arizona. And if we can go ahead to the next slide. And so our development focus is, like I said, we work one-on-one with the faculty. They are assigned, we have 2 development cycles, one in the fall, one in the spring. A typical development cycle is 16 weeks. And so our courses are assigned. We get, we find out what courses want the support, whether it's a full development or a redesign. And then we assign those courses to an instructional designer. And that instructional designer reaches out, has an initial meeting with the faculty, and we get started on the development. And in most cases, the faculty developer is then going to also be the instructor of the course. So and I know when Kate comes on and explains, that might be a little different for UAGC, but for us, it's the faculty developer is the instructor. And so we work with not just the course design and getting it laid out in the LMS, but also, what's going to facilitate, better teaching pedagogy? What is going to help this faculty or this instructor achieve their learning outcomes and position themselves and position their students for better success? So that's an important distinction there that we do. We are a QM school, Quality Matters. So a lot of what we do as well is focused on Quality Matters. And while not every course goes through a Quality Matters review, every course has the option to request one. But a lot of what we do is based in that Quality Matters rubric, so that we are aimed at getting those learning objectives developed and aligned with the activities and assessments, and making sure that we have quality course level objectives and quality module level outcomes as well, so that we know that students are hitting those outcomes, and that the activities that the students are participating in are aligned with those outcomes, and the technology is supporting those outcomes as well. So everything gets kind of, like I said, woven in there with the course development process. We're very student-centered. And, so even though we're working with faculty, our goal is to increase student success and engagement. We want students to be engaged in their online courses. We don't want the online courses to be a transactional experience for them. So we focus, I know this series has talked about building community. So we have, kind of multiple sides of this, is that we want to design courses where students are building a community in their courses, where they have interaction with each other, where they have interaction with the content, where they have interaction with the instructor. And so hitting those 3 pieces of engagement, we feel helps build that community within the course. And then on the other side, we want to build a community with our faculty as well. We want our faculty to come back to us for support if they need it. We want them to say good things about us to their colleagues, so that their colleagues want to come work with us as well. So we're central to campus. We're centralized to helping all faculty on campus. And so we want to build that community as a place where they know they can come get instructional support, whether it be for course design, technology, assessment, or teaching pedagogy. And then one of the other things that we really focus on are the demographics of our student audience. And that's one thing that we talk a lot about with our faculty, is that the demographics of main campus in-person students is very different from the demographics of our Arizona Online students. And so how do we design the courses with that in mind, with knowing that most of these students are full-time working individuals, They may have families, other obligations that they have going on, and there's a reason they're taking online courses. Right? There's a reason they came back to school. So how can we structure the course so that they can be the most successful in there? So we have a lot of those conversations about demographics and also about accessibility and equity. We've developed course readiness checklists that address accessibility, that address inclusion and equity, so that we are working with instructors to make the highest quality course that they can put out there for their students, and that students can come in there and they know where to find things. The content is accessible. They're engaging with their peers. They're able to contact their instructor, and they have a positive experience and gain the knowledge that they need from the course. And if we want to go to the next slide, that will wrap this up. So again, I talked about our 15-week development process. So we have our kickoff meeting, we evaluate, we design, we develop, and then we launch. So the development includes writing and recording content, talking with instructors about the best content that they can use, how to build assessments, what assessments are going to be best to achieve their learning outcomes, to see whether the students are achieving those outcomes. And ideating and talking about what tools are best going to support what they want to do in the course. And then we have the course launch. And one of the things that is not shown on this slide as well, but I just wanted to mention, is that we also have a continuous improvement team, where after the course runs once, we have a team where faculty and instructors are able to come back and get continuous improvement and work on the things that maybe didn't work so well the first time, or maybe they didn't get to in the initial development process. So that's just kind of a quick rundown on our process at UCAT with instructional design, and I will toss it back over to Kate.
Thanks, Adam. So as you can see from Adam's presentation, apologize, I'm not ethereal. There is a nice sunlight coming on my face right now. Right. So UCAT focuses on developing its faculty on the front end. That's a conversation that we've talked about because they're supporting the faculty as they're creating the courses. And UAGC takes a slightly different approach. As our faculty population is predominantly adjunct, our training and development occurs mostly on the back end. So once the courses are already developed, but where we connect is we're both focusing on cultivating faculty practice that works for our individual faculty models and our student populations. So institutional level faculty development, I want to preface this because this is not the only development that happens at UAGC. We are blessed to have incredibly active and engaged program chairs, department chairs, and assistant deans who provide development for their faculty as well. But for my purposes, we look at institutional development. So there's sort of three main categories of development that when we're looking at supporting faculty. So at UAGC, onboarding is the first category. This facilitates facilitating fundamentals within the LMS, institutional policies, as well as faculty practice and cultural expectations. When we built the program in 2020, one of our focuses was on supporting connection and belonging right out of the gate. So for that reason, our new faculty are paired with a faculty coach, and that individual supports and offers feedback throughout the program so that, we all know when we start a job, it can feel a little confusing where everything is. The idea of starting a new job where you can't see any of the people that you're necessarily engaging with right off the bat, having a research tells us that having an individual that they can call their own to connect with is a huge part of supporting not only inclusiveness, but a feeling of belonging. The second part is continuous learning. So this is for all of our veteran faculty. We support faculty with full development courses, pre-recorded webinars, video walkthroughs, and job aids. My boss likes to use a colloquial called soup to nuts. We absolutely do that. If you want to talk about what sort of evidence-based practice that you're using in your classroom, we can support that. If you want to learn how to post in a discussion forum, we've got stuff for that too. The options are all available to faculty through one platform that we call Faculty Help. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week. It has almost anything that they could possibly think of would be in there, and then we are adding to it regularly. Additionally, we support faculty through course observations, just in time. We support programs like we have the Culture of Care Summit coming up, but we also put on the largest program, which we are attending today, which is the Teaching and Learning Conference. The other one is the annual curriculum. So we work with Faculty Affairs Committee, which includes full-time faculty and adjunct faculty from every department, stakeholders from departments, both in academics and student-facing, and additionally support from learning services specifically to ensure that our work is aligned with faculty needs, institutional strategies, and how faculty work aligns across departments. So what I don't want to have happen is we ask faculty to do something and then Jen Zauer says to me, yeah, that can't happen. we can't do that. We can't facilitate that right now. We need like another year for that to happen, which is an actual conversation that we had when we were developing the most recent one. So I want to jump in and talk a little bit more about how we are developing the substantive feedback. Substantive feedback model is something that we developed for this year. So just kind of wanted to talk you through how we work to create responsive development for our faculty. So on screen is sort of the structure and framework. So we have created themes that we cover, starting with very simple concepts that progress towards more complex concepts. The learning is scaffolded towards the final theme, which relies on the understanding of the applications of the first to be successful. Learning objectives were created from these themes. And the training or the learning for the faculty, because we are supporting faculty practice and not faculty content, the model can be used across the institution, which is really important, whether we have, our Forbes School of Business faculty taking the course, or we have a faculty member in our School of General Studies. We have to ensure that what we are creating supports the development of all our faculty, regardless of their department. So this model fits across the institution. We would argue, and I think at some point we will make the argument that it can work across higher education institutions. So it's evidence-based. When we were researching substantive feedback and looking at what scholarship exists, much of it focused on a micro level, asking each course or each instructor to develop and implement their own strategies, which is really tough to execute in our particular faculty model. So it's another consideration that we have to think about. So we dove into existing research, time-tested, evidence-based practices to develop the model, specifically relying on Bloom's taxonomy, cognitive load theory, the zone of proximal development, scaffolding, and then of course contemporary research to build this particular model for our faculty. We are implementing feedback mechanisms through using Kirkpatrick's 4 levels of training, hoping to identify how effective as well as the efficacy of the model. Learning engagement. To engage the learner, we've created a standalone 45-minute asynchronous course that all of our adjuncts are currently in the process of completing. Additionally, we're offering quarterly workshops for faculty to work hands-on with the material, and then faculty observations of their efforts towards implementing this model throughout the 24-25 academic year. And then finally, we're conducting research on the implementation of faculty use of the model, both for veteran faculty and with new faculty in the onboarding training. What's important in our work overall is, who are our learners and the population they serve in the classroom. Dr. George Koo once said that there are many great ways, many great teaching and learning strategies out there for us to use. But what's important is to know what works at your institution. And our drive is to make that connection between the need for faculty development and the alignment to the UAGC faculty model and student population. And I just had a quick note because Adam brought it up. Where did I place it? Our senior learning designer is also a QM workshop facilitator. So she helps ensures not only that we're creating good learning experiences, but that it's also meeting QM standards. Thank you, Becky. And then additionally, we offer sort of a la carte services. So we needed a training course for a DEI course review, mini developments for high needs courses such as Gen 101 and Gen 103, as well as trainings for our dissertation chairs and ADP chairs. So we look to try to, anywhere a faculty member might need to know about something or how to do something or knowledge that they need to retain to do their job as well as they can, we try to be the place where faculty can look and come to us so that they can get that created for them and bring their vision to life. And I'm going to kick back over to Adam to talk a little bit about a really cool course that I've heard a lot about at UA, called UNIV 101.
Thanks, Kate. Yes, so UNIV 101 is a relatively new course at the U of A that every student or every incoming student is required to take now. So they recently revamped the general education program at U of A, and part of that revamp was to include like an intro course and a capstone course to the Gen Ed program. So there's UNIV 101 that they take at the beginning of their college career. And then once they finish their Gen Eds, they will also take UNIV 301. But I'll just talk a little bit about 101, which just recently started going about 2 or 3 years ago. And it's a 1-unit course. It's a full 15 weeks. It is taught in person, but there also are online sections for our online students as well. So the main kind of idea of the course is to introduce students to the Gen Ed curriculum and to build community. And what this program has kind of done is build community in multiple ways. So they have capped the courses, each section of UNIV 101 at 27 students. So it's a relatively small course, which means there's a large teaching team. There's people teaching this course from all over campus. There's even instructors who are teaching it who are not actually staff or faculty on campus, but they come in and they are designated campus colleagues or essentially adjuncts. Not sure what exactly they call them, but the point is there's a large teaching team, and so there's the student community where every student, even though the courses sections are capped at 27, every student is taking the same class and getting the same curriculum. And so the course was designed, it was built out with basically a standardized curriculum and they worked with our team to help kind of fine tune and finalize that as well. So that's, fun for us as well to talk about. And every instructor basically gets that curriculum and they can run with it. So students are doing the same assignments in each class, but instructors do have the freedom to kind of play with the in-course curriculum. They meet once a week in person or if it's online. I don't believe there are synchronous meetings with the online sections, but they are still they do still have some freedom for how they are kind of working with the content. And so there's a training beforehand. It usually takes place in the summer each year, where there's synchronous aspects and asynchronous aspects for the instructors, where the whole instructor team can kind of collaborate and build community and ask questions and talk to one another and work through this curriculum. And some who have never taught a class before, and some who have been teaching for 20 plus years. And so you get that knowledge sharing across the whole team during these trainings. And it's been kind of different every year, but basically it's usually like spread out over a couple weeks, where you have some form of asynchronous collaboration on D2L or Brightspace, and then some in-person collaboration as well. And then each instructor is placed in a smaller teaching team, that those teams meet regularly throughout the semester as well, to talk through the curriculum, to talk through what's been going on in their courses, to ask questions. And it's a really kind of communal space where the instructors get a chance to get to know one another and talk through the curriculum. And it's nice because we're all doing the same thing. And so it's like, well, how did you do this? How did students respond to this in your class? And so it's a nice way to kind of form that community, on top of working with the students to try to build this community that they are going to be a part of, as U of A students, as Wildcats, right? And so it's an opportunity for us to get beyond like your typical math and science or foreign language or that type of curriculum, and you get to talk about the importance of exploring perspectives, and why wonder is important in your life. And so it's a good way for students to get to know one another in kind of a lower stakes environment, and to really build on that idea that we are coming together as a Wildcat community, and then you're going out into the world and forming your own communities from there. And so we really build on those concepts, and then the instructors as well get a chance to talk about what they're doing. And so they're provided a course guide, weekly slide decks, which you can always customize and change up. But you have your outcomes each week that you're supposed to hit, and you have the materials, and it's all built out on the LMS. So there's, for someone, if you're not familiar with building in a learning management system, it's there for you. You don't have to learn that. And then, for people who are on my team who want a little bit extra, I always offer, like, you can come to me. I'll help you if you want to create a new page or do something fun on there. I'm happy to help. So it's that's another way that they can that instructors can kind of learn how it goes too. So it's been so far, I think it's been successful. This is my third year teaching it, and I feel more comfortable with the content. And so I think that as instructors get more and more familiar with the content, they are getting more comfortable with teaching it, and finding ways to kind of to build on it from year to year for the benefit of our students.
And I think before we hand it back over to Teresa, I think, Adam and I were talking about this morning, a practice that we both have really lends itself to appreciative inquiry, which is we're trying to figure out what works. We recently had last year a community of practice that was synchronous, and though there were people that enjoyed it, was a very low percentage. And so this year we're thinking about and implementing an asynchronous option to go along with live things that happen throughout the year. And Adam was talking about creating a handbook for his people about the great works and the great pieces that really work for instructional design. And my lead for onboarding recently created a guide for her people as well about here are the things that I know that work really well when I'm supporting brand new faculty. And so, making sure that we're taking the opportunity to reflect on our practices, see what works, and always be curious about how we can evolve to make those better decisions in the future.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about feedback from all ends. The more feedback we can get, the better we can the better services we can provide, right, all around.
Well, thank you, Kate and Adam. Before we move into a panel discussion, I just made an observation that I think will be a nice segue into our conversation. Both of you seem to me to be zeroing in on the importance of discourse among faculty peers, among faculty and support staff for, learning and understanding what works. I know at UAGC, when we talk about some of the support services Kate mentioned, like course observations and things like that, that is the intent, right? To start a conversation. Nobody has the answer, but talking through approaches and perspectives is what can help us achieve something new. So, um, you know, in that vein, right, that speaks to our appreciative inquiry that this group has engaged in over the past several months to prepare this series of presentations, and that I hope we all can do together in this coming panel session. So to kick that off, Kate and Adam, I won't ask you to introduce yourselves again, since we're very familiar with you now, but if we could go to Netta and Jen, if you would reintroduce yourselves briefly, and maybe Netta give a quick synopsis of what you and your colleagues shared on day one, and Jen, what you and Caleb shared on day two. I think that will situate us for this conversation.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and start. Thank you, Teresa, for that. And Kate and Adam, thank you for the awesome presentation. So hi, everyone. I'm Netta Fletcher. I'm the Assistant Director of Academic Programs and Strategic Initiative here at Arizona Online. So my team oversees the onboarding of new programs and existing programs to the online campus. So we talked a little bit, Jen and I and Morgan, on the first session about how an idea kind of becomes and transitions into the full-on degree program and course offering, and how we kind of target those audiences, and looking through many different lenses of market analysis to get us started with that decision making of what is a good fit program to onboard and offer to our student population. And that is kind of a broad overview of what we talked about on the first day. Jen, I'll hand it to you.
Thanks, Netta. Hi, everyone. My name is Jen Zauer, and I am the Director of Learning Solutions at UAGC, which in my role, I oversee our course and curriculum development. So yesterday, Caleb Simmons and I picked up where Netta, Morgan, and I left off on Monday and talked about really some of the unique differences between more of a grounds up approach that Arizona Online uses with how a course comes to fruition from a faculty member initiating the idea for a course they have, and the governance process that goes through before it is added into and turned over to the UCAT team's hands to bring that course to life, as opposed to at UAGC, and where we use more of a centralized approach, where once a decision is made on a larger scale to put a course onto the schedule, how we work to use a centralized approach to our curriculum to bring that course to life, and the different voices that we bring into that development process.
Thank you both. And we're really excited to welcome Lisa and Melody today to join our panel discussion. Lisa and Melody are the leaders of UCAT, two complementary arms. Would you each introduce yourselves and share a bit about what you are responsible for?
Sure, I'll go first because alphabetically my name is first, but just one letter. My name's Lisa Elfering, and I am the Vice Provost for Assessment, Teaching, and Technology here at UCAT. And as Teresa said, what that means is that Melody and I co-lead UCAT, and each of us provides direct supervision or leadership to a distinct set of the folks here in UCAT, and I really focus in on educational development and our assessment team. And my own personal background is in biology teaching, and I still do that from time to time, but I also am involved in teaching the course that Adam just told you about, the University 101 course. And I think it really is a really exciting model for how to get people on our campus involved in teaching with a lot of supports. Melody?
Hi, everybody. I am Melody Buckner, and I am the Associate Vice Provost for Digital Learning and Online Initiatives. So sorry, I got a little bit of a cough. I really focus on the digital learning and the online side of the Teaching and Learning Center. So this is kind of where my heart is. I was an instructional designer. I started at the University of Arizona in 2008 as an instructional designer. Be careful if you get a PhD, things really start to snowball for you when you do that. So I have been a dean, starting a college, the College of Applied Science and Technology, which is a wonderful college here at the University of Arizona. And then I was able to step into this position and work with Lisa, who I adore. And we have just a fantastic time leading this group of professionals who really care about student success, who really care about quality teaching, and about providing, I guess, quality environments for all modalities, whether it be face-to-face, hybrid, or fully online. The UNIV 101 is a great example of a course that was kind of created more like the UAGC model in the fact that it was created and then it was, other people came in and everybody teaches it. But it's a great model because anybody can teach it. And we help with the faculty development of that too. So in some ways, that's kind of our version of how UAGC does their course development, which is really eye-opening for us because we're really used to the flip model of that. So I have really enjoyed getting to know all of our UAGC partners and collaborators, and learning about how they develop their courses, and then in turn being able to share our process. So Adam, thank you for stepping up today and sharing that. We really appreciate it. And Kate, always love to hear how you're doing things as well. And I love the sunlight on your face. You're
It is
glowing.
lovely.
So,
Thank
okay.
you for calling that out, Melody. I think everybody, we need to pause and give Adam a round of applause because he stepped in and rescued this panel from a mini emergency. So thank you, Adam, and great job. Thank you for teeing that up too, Melody, about the sharing. So my first question to the group, whoever would like to weigh in, is about sharing exactly. Given that the theme of this conference is defining belonging, building belonging, we have been learning a lot over the past couple of days about how important being heard and being able to use your voice is to building a sense of belonging, which is exactly what you all have been doing over the past several months. I mean, for a longer time beyond this presentation, but about this presentation specifically. So I'm curious about what you have learned from each other, if you have maybe one or two things that were the most significant, maybe practices from your counterparts at the other institution that you would like to try out or investigate more, or that was eye-opening for you.
Well, I can go.
Please. Yes.
So something that actually stood out to me was something I learned from the session I did with Caleb yesterday, as he really dug in and explained more about the processes that they use, and specifically the integration of so much peer feedback into the process of developing a course. It really stood out to me and was something that I went, huh, I wonder how we can integrate that more, because he talked about how when one faculty member initiated the idea for a course, and then the different levels of governance that it would go through, and how in each level there really was feedback as it related to the outcomes. What are the content? How might this course potentially overlap with a course that's in another program, or that is a course with a similar content taught by a different faculty member? And that was something that really stood out to me as an area of opportunity for us within our process, and that I'm eager to dig in more and hear more about what that looks like, and where that potentially, falls into the approaches that we're currently using.
Um, Adam hopped in for his colleague, and I'm so appreciative and honestly so surprised at how calm he was. I'm like, I knew about this the whole time and I'm not calm. One of the things I really like that has been shared with me is the way that UCAT puts out their information. So like really thinking about what it is. And I've actually, through a combination of these conversations and feedback from some of my full-time faculty, am creating a project around learning themes, and just being able to articulate what it is that we're talking about, because we have this repository in faculty help, but it oftentimes is elements together. And what I think UCAT does really, really well is takes a theme or a concept and really talks it out, really lays it out beautifully, publicly, I might add, which I can't wait. But it's not just about the elements, they're putting the entire idea together, so that someone doesn't have to do the guesswork of assembling how those pieces go together. And I really, really love that idea to kind of make it as simple to understand the concept as possible, outside of doing, an entire course. That takes a lot of work. Not that the website doesn't, but that we can, there are multiple ways that we can approach getting this information.
Yeah, Kate, thank you. One of the things that I think is fantastic about UCAT is that everyone who works here has been involved in teaching and learning in a variety of ways at a variety of institutions in a variety of disciplines. And so even if people are not working on the front lines of working with instructors, they always have that in the backs of their minds. And I think that really comes through in a lot of the work that we've been able to do together. I'd also like to say that through a combination of these sessions and conversations that we've had, sort of unrelated to this particular conference, one of the things that I have come to really appreciate and to be curious about, again, how we can apply it at the University of Arizona, is the degree to which your support for instructors is focused in on that those very critical the learning outcomes that are associated with each class, and that you really keep coming back to that as a theme. And I feel like in a lot of our work here at the University of Arizona, we haven't connected in all the ways that would be possible the critical importance of learning outcomes. That's where you start when you're backwards designing, and then as you're iteratively revisiting every offering of a course, coming back to that idea of course learning outcomes and what does the student work tell you. So I'm really excited about the prospect of learning more about how to do that and how to apply that sort of at an institutional level.
Any other additions? Well, on the topic of learning outcomes, I think that concept, the backwards design, takes us back to the beginning, I guess extreme backwards design of, our first session, which is talking about the critical but very high level analysis of student populations, their needs, market needs, et cetera, that help us to even define what those outcomes should be. So through these 3 sessions, we've talked about bringing learning outcomes to life in 3 different periods of developing a course, I suppose. But a theme that has woven throughout the 3 is this idea that a student needs to see themselves in a program or a course or the learning outcome or the instructor, right? So I wondered if any of you could share from each of your presentations how at the period of program or course development that you were addressing, you're helping to ensure that students can see themselves in the work that you're delivering. So Netta, I'm going to say, let's start with you since you were
I'm
the
gonna act
first.
busy, Teresa, for a second now. Okay. Yes, I think, the biggest portion of what we do, at least from my perspective of onboarding new degrees and programs, is kind of looking at the data. And I think Morgan and I, looking at the data, I think data-driven decision was common in our kind of the first beginning. How do we look at the data? What is the program that we want to target, or what program is interested in being offered online, and looking through what is the job market for the students that come in. Is it going to be a popular program? Are we going to set that student up for success when they graduate? Are they going to fit into that market that there is a need? Are they going to fill a need within that? Every student comes with their own set of interests and, kind of idea of what that program is. So aligning those offerings to that student's kind of idea of what they're going into, I think that will, and as I think everybody mentioned, a sense of community into that, because when you're in a cohort, probably there's a lot of similar minds in that program as well, and aligning those and connecting and building the community that you can rely on even after graduation, and kind of building on that. So I think even through the journey of onboarding a program, I know my team and I, we rely on Adam and Matt and Melody's team very heavily to have those conversations. We kind of involve them in the conversations from the beginning to get the idea of the faculty or whoever, the college level, they are interested in this program. How can we work on the designing of the program to align with the faculty's idea, but also serving the student at the same time? So we work very closely with the UCAT team to make sure all of those outcomes are aligned for the faculty's perspective, the college's perspective, as well as keeping that student in mind.
And I'll just kind of add on to the next step from what Netta was saying, is that, yes, we work with her and her team to onboard those courses. And then when they come to us as instructional designers, we continue that conversation. I mentioned it a little bit in my presentation, but what is the student demographic? And how are you delivering content to students in an online format? That is different than how you might be delivering it to students in a face-to-face format, right? You're not just standing up on a stage giving a 45-minute lecture 3 times a week. That's not going to fly in an online setting. So how can we do that differently? And from a student perspective too, how are they involved in creating content and engaging with that content? So really just kind of flipping the script a little bit about, you know, what is engaging for students and how are they, what are they taking away from it? And yes, Lisa, I see your comment. You're right, um, so we definitely have those conversations that are, you know, like I said, centered around students and really centered around how students can also become content creators. We are also an Adobe Creative Campus. I'm going to plug that, and I plug it all the time with like, hey, let students create content and and get that and use these tools that are then going to become lifelong tools for them to be able to use even once they graduate, and these skills that they're going to be learning in your course that they can take with them outside into the workforce.
I want to build a little bit on what Adam's saying. And Adam, you're absolutely right. At the University of Arizona, we're more of a residential campus. And I've been fighting this since 2008 because I was brought on to start with the online. And so a lot of our faculty are very familiar with the face-to-face and even hybrid modality. But when it's going to an asynchronous, fully online modality, they really lean on our instructional design team to help them figure out how am I going to communicate to students? How am I going to relate to students? How are students going to relate to me? How am I going to know they're achieving the learning outcomes? And building those relations online and how we do that. And it's really pivotal that our instructional designers work with them. That's probably why we have the model that we have. Whereas UAGC, you're fully online school. When faculty come to you, they usually have online teaching backgrounds so that they kind of have that experience. We've had to really create a culture where we're helping people adapt to a whole new type of modality. And of course, the pandemic really sent us into a tailspin where we had to go to emergency online teaching, which was really difficult for us. A lot of pain points, a lot of grinding and gnashing of the teeth that went through that. But now that we're on the other side of that and they've gotten a taste of that, they realize that there is some real quality teaching, learning, and actually sense of belonging that can happen in these fully online classes. And we have a lot of faculty that have now embraced online teaching, whereas before the pandemic would have never, ever thought about going and teaching in that modality. So, I really am thankful for the group of instructional designers. Most of them teach online, so they know what it's like to be in that online classroom. The other part of our team that we haven't talked too much about, two teams really quickly, is our instructional technology team. And we always lead with pedagogy, but we have to choose technologies. And so sometimes faculty will come to us with a new shiny toy. And we're like, well, let's see, what do you want to do before we choose the technology, instead of choosing the technology and trying to make the methodology work. So we have a great team of technologists. We have a lot of supplemental academic technologies that we're using. I'm using a new one right now. I have a new kind of shiny toy, but I did want to do peer review. I'm doing feedback fruits. And so I'm learning that, and I have a technologist that can really help me as a faculty learn how to get these students to feel a sense of belonging in the peer review process inside of this tool. So that's another very deep dynamic team that we have. And then we also have a multimedia team. We have 3 studios here on campus. We have one of our videographers actually has about 8 or 9 Emmys. So we actually take faculty into the field and help them, talk about and get excited about their passion, whatever it is they're teaching. And then we have the studios where they can come in and record lectures and get some help in making, their talks very professional looking. So it's a whole package that we have here in supporting our faculty to developing their online courses, not just the instructional designers.
And if I could sort of tangentially align this to faculty populations. One of the benefits we have at UAGC is we have a very veteran and seasoned faculty body, specifically our full-time faculty, who are many of them have spent decades in the online environment. And why that matters is we know, and our faculty who hire our adjunct faculties, I know this is part of being in the onboarding, is, it's a very specific individual who is successful at teaching our students in our modality, in our faculty model. And they really have done an incredible job through our work institutionally with the culture of care, of understanding who it is that's going to be most effective in their classes. It is incredible to see how discerning our that we call them hiring managers in my little world, but the program chairs and the assistant deans, they know what is required. They understand that disposition is one of the key elements to making an incredible online faculty member successful. And they're successful when our students are successful. So they know, of course, that we want people who are have been successful in their field. That's always exciting to have individuals like this, but coming from, a couple of generations of K-12 educators, from parents to grandparents, my sister's a third grade teacher. It's not so much about, the mathematics or the addition. She's incredible because she's passionate about student learning. And I think that our faculty do an incredible job of seeking that out, hiring that in, and cultivating that here, so that our students have the best representative of UAGC that they face or get face time with in our classrooms.
You're really talking about bookends of that online experience, right? How the course is structured matters so much, and how the human part of it matters so much. I'm looking in the participants and I see Charles Holmes. Hey, Charles, yesterday in our final spotlight session of the day, Lauren Scharf, who is at the Air Force Academy, gave a presentation about the scholarship of teaching and learning. And Charles posed a possible research question that I think is really pertinent to this conversation. Charles, please feel free to correct me if I get it wrong, but it was, how can we understand which LMS design or structure is best for any given
I think it was a
student
course.
population? Oh, a course. Sorry. Thank you. But that just strikes me as so pertinent to this conversation, because in either of these models, these support systems allow us to test things out and see how they work, right? That's part of, well, just like Adam and Kate were talking about, we're all just aiming to see what works best, and that requires a lot of testing and talking and going back and forth and maybe failing a couple times, and then you figure it out. Are there, oh, thank you, Charles, for correcting, yes. Is there anything from audience members, anything that you would like to ask this group? Maybe a lingering question from a previous day's presentation, or something new from Lisa and Melody, since they're just joining us today?
And while we're waiting for those, I just would love to say how incredible this experience of putting this together, to be able to have time with Netta and Lisa and Melody and now Adam and Matt. They're such forces. Like their knowledge is incredible. The fact that they're so willing to share. I know there's absolutely opportunities that I would love for us to continue to have conversations about how we can learn more from each other and try and fail together again. But I really, really appreciate this experience.
Ditto. I think we all agree. And we appreciate all of you for being here today and for the past 2 days. We hope that you found this as enlightening as we all did, and hope that you will feel free to reach out to any of the wonderful folks on this screen to continue the conversation and learn more. So with that, I thank everybody on the panel for the past couple of months of preparation and for your time this week. Thanks everyone for attending. And we invite you, of course, in addition to enjoying the rest of the conference sessions, to join us again at 2 p.m. Pacific for a closing session where we will share some conference awards that you all have nominated over the past few days. Take care, everybody.